It's the Full Court Press with Eric Frandsen and Jason Walker.
Welcome back to the to the show that we're doing right now.
Following the local teams, breaking down the biggest games with in-depth analysis and team interviews.
There's going to be much higher expectations, sense of awareness of what we bring to the table.
Join the show by calling into 435-752-1069 or text 435-339-0321. It's the Full Court Press.
Throws, ends up, yes! Caught! Touchdown! They did it!
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Full Court Press. Here on 106.9 FM, 1390 AM, The Fan. Streaming on live.
It is live on streaming.
Streaming live.
Yeah.
On 1069thefan.com and the 1069 The Fan mobile app. Available on podcast after the fact. But we're always live 4 to 6 every day. Talking the latest in local sports. Basically the only local sports radio show. Jason Walker and Eric Frandsen here with you. If you guys want to join the show, the Full Court Press text line is 435-339-0321. Spent a lot of time talking about boys basketball, Region 11, how things have gone there. A little bit about girls basketball as well. Mountain West basketball, how things are shaping up early on. Going over some rankings, maybe a preview of what the soon-to-be-released NET rankings will be. And recapping how they're looking in the KenPom rankings right now. And looking at the Mountain West 25th anniversary team. A few Aggies getting representations there. You can go back, listen to our conversation if you weren't able to catch it then. But moving on to, I guess, more football. And it's transfer portal season. It's filling up. I was looking at, there's, increasing numbers of organizations trying to, because the transfer portal database is not public. But a lot of players make their intentions known publicly.
Right.
And I know there's some people that may have like back channel access, they know a guy and they're able to get access one way or the other. So you can get an idea of how many people are in the portal. It doesn't officially open until December 4th. They're around there. I'm pretty sure we're both thinking it was December 4th. If our memory is working or is correct. But for players whose coaches left or got fired, they can enter early. So actually several look like San Diego State, Boise State players can and have entered the portal already and are receiving official offers as they're allowed to.
Oregon State's quarterback DJ.
I can't even pronounce his name.
Uyunglele. I'm not sure if I said that right.
Yeah, former Clemson, going to Oregon State. Began starring there. Of course,
be on the move again.
Well, he's potentially looking at the NFL. He's going to consider. He's leaving Oregon State because that's just, I guess. There's already things happening with Oregon State and Washington State. They're losing guys, coaches, and whatnot, or going to lose players and coaches already, just with the dissolving of the Pac-12. But one database that I saw, they're doing their best to track this. According to them, there's, let me refresh it in case there's more since last I opened the page. No, it's the same. 416 players that they've tracked that have entered the portal already. Since like the end of the regular season on Saturday or Sunday, I guess, if there were games played on Sunday.
Insane.
And it's only going to get bigger.
It's only going to get worse.
And it gets into the thousands. There's only 130 teams. I guess they include, Division or FCS because that's technically also Division 1. But yeah, you get into the thousands with, close to 300 teams. And it's just, it's absolutely crazy. And certainly Aggie fans keeping an eye on the transfer portal. And right now, as far as I know, there aren't any players. Well, of course, I don't think none can enter the transfer portal officially, but I don't know if there are any Aggies who have announced their intention to leave. And a lot of that just has to do with the fact the Aggies are going to have another game.
Yeah.
So they don't really want to leave the team. They could. I don't think there'd be anything keeping them from leaving the team, and then they could enter the portal and go somewhere else if they wanted to. So you might see some of that. But I imagine there's also going to be a lot of players who just want to move on. And, of course, for the Aggies, they'll probably keep a closer eye on the transfer portal after the bowl game, because that's the real test. Because we were going through this song and dance last year. It was like, oh, no Aggies had really entered the portal leading up to the bowl game. And then the bowl game happened. And then it was an avalanche of guys going into the portal. And so I would, don't get your hopes up too high just because not too many people from Utah State will enter the portal, in these early weeks. Because it's a lot of people that are moving on from teams whose seasons are done. But once that bowl game happens, that's where the real test begins. And I wrote about this in my Monday cooldown where it's like, I didn't even focus on the New Mexico game. But it was like, okay, Blake Anderson did a good job getting the Aggies to a bowl game, all things considered. But there's been the talk for several weeks now about recruiting better and getting bigger. And a lot of that isn't so much recruiting as it is retaining and developing. Because that's Blake Anderson's style. He's recruiting guys that he can develop to be the kind of players he needs. And if he's going to continue to recruit that way, he's got to hang on to his guys, which he couldn't last season. And if he can't this season, then he's either got to change, or unfortunately he's not going to be able to stick around long at Utah State because they're not going to tolerate, fans aren't going to tolerate 6-6 seasons forever.
Right.
It's already been 2 seasons of this, and it's getting a little frustrating after they've seen what Utah State can do in the Mountain West. 2018, 2021. They know this team can contend. They have a basketball team that's able to handle the transfer portal and contend year after year after year, coach after coach after coach. So they're going to want to see results in football as well. So Blake Anderson, when the transfer portal comes knocking on Utah State's door saying, it's your time, give me all of your transfers, bring out your dead, so to speak, how many are going to leave? Is Blake Anderson going to be able to hang on to, obviously there's some that are going to leave because there's always some who they figure out that this just isn't the place for them. And they need to look to what will legitimately be greener pastures for them. How many key players are going to leave looking for theoretically greener pastures, perhaps literally greener, but more the cash green.
Yeah, and there will be players who will transfer. It's going to affect every school at every level. There are players who will leave. The question is, who are they? What kind of impact did they have? What kind of a hole will they leave? And so this has been a really important week for Utah State coaching staff. They know they're going to a bowl game. They know they have more football to play. They don't know what that schedule looks like yet. So this is more like a bye week. So they're not really running through a lot of practices. But what they should be doing is, and I believe Coach Henderson kind of alluded to this after the game, that he and his coaching staff are going to spend time with their current players and have conversations with them. And basically this is a recruit your own guys week. There's other recruiting that can be going on this week. High school players, maybe some JC guys, but it's just as important to recruit the guys you already have on your roster and figure out where are you at? Where's your head at? This is what we believe your role is with our program or isn't, and how it fits into our future. So this has been a very important week for Utah State. Yesterday, it was announced that a former Utah player saying that he's going to come to Utah State. Didn't play a lot of snaps for the Utes this last year, but he was a highly recruited, highly touted JC guy the season before. And maybe he comes in and helps Utah State, and maybe that's a good early signal about where this team is and where they're heading going into next year.
Well, it's another Blake Anderson style recruit. It's a safety. It's a guy who, went to a Power 5 school, but it didn't work out, and he's going to try and, bring in a guy who clearly has talent, and he's going to try and work with it. It's something that Blake Anderson's been doing over and over and over again. That's his style of recruiting. But, yeah, he's got some guys that he's developed here with, he got a guy like Ike Larson and a bunch of other guys, and a lot of those guys are going to be eligible to transfer. Where, if you transferred from a Division I school to another one, you have to, if you transfer again, I believe you have to wait a year.
Yeah.
Although waivers are getting handed out a lot more these days. Well, maybe. I don't know. They were getting handed out, and I think the NC may be reeling back. We'll see. But there's plenty of guys who, Cooper Lega, will he transfer? Any of those quarterbacks. Levi Williams is basically retiring at the end of this year. It's made national headlines. His intention to pursue becoming a Navy SEAL. So, of course, obviously he's going, post-football. He's moving on from football, which, best of luck to him, obviously. There's guys who do that, sometimes they'll just end their career early. Jacob South did that actually last year, one of the offensive linemen, but there are guys who may decide to transfer. As I said, just go down the list of all the guys who could transfer because they started with Utah State. I think even guys who came out from junior college, I think they'd be eligible to transfer. So you're looking at, that entire running back room, that three-headed dragon. I think any one of them could transfer. And I'm not reporting rumors of guys who are not hearing anything behind the scenes. Not trying to start rumors, but I'm just saying there's a lot of guys who are eligible to transfer. How many you're going to be able to keep around? And especially on that offensive and defensive line. Because those are the guys that are needing to develop. They recruited a bunch of development projects and have a bunch of development projects in the offensive line. Are they going to be able to keep them around? We don't know.
Yeah.
Especially on that defensive line, where that's where they got hit, is they had guys they were developing on the defensive line, and they lost them all. Will they keep all those guys? Will they keep Keon Sloan? Will they keep Blaine Spires? Will they keep all these different guys
Paul Fitzgerald
that they just brought in? Or are they going to transfer somewhere else?
So, yeah, it's the transfer season. It's the freak out season. It's the that being said season.
Yeah, that being said, always such and such mascot, even though they are leaving.
Yeah. But certainly closer to home, a lot of Aggie fans freaking out today.
Yeah.
Earlier today, Ike Larson posts a clip of a video. It's just, 4 or 5 seconds long.
Yeah.
So sometimes you got to make that decision that breaks your heart but gives you peace.
Yeah, it's a quote from some motivational speaker. It's like kind of an online personality motivational speaker. And yeah, it has Aggie fans thinking that's basically a pre-farewell letter in some form or fashion. And a lot of Ute fans are celebrating because they think he's going to come to Utah. Maybe he will. We'll see.
Maybe it's something entirely different.
Yeah, we don't
which
know.
We can hope for.
But athletes like to be cryptic like this because they love the attention.
Yeah.
And Ike Larson, he's a social media guy. He craves the attention. And not necessarily in a toxic way. It's in the... I'm not saying it's bad. He craves attention as much as the rest of us do. But, he's doing that in the same way everyone does, where they want attention. And he sends a cryptic tweet to get attention. He sent a tweet the other day where it was the eyeball emojis. Like, athletes love sending cryptic tweets.
It's subtweets.
Because it gets attention. So, like I said, it's getting attention today. And it's something that makes Aggie fans panic. And maybe Ike's trying to get out ahead and saying, oh, if this decision, it's painful to make you leave.
Several days ago, it was just praying, exclamation point.
Yeah, it's just, it's a bunch of cryptic stuff.
That could mean anything.
And I can't remember if he had Utah State in his Twitter and Instagram profiles, but if they were, they're no longer there.
Well, his profile picture is him wearing his Utah State jersey.
Yeah. But I'm saying in his the text profile. So I can't remember if it was there, but if it was, it's not. He doesn't list Utah State in any of his, I guess the bio, that's what it is, the bio of. Because that's what I have to do. As a trained journalist, I now have to check the bios to see if text has been removed from athletes. It's well worth my time to check that kind of stuff. Because that's what I have to do as a reporter, as a journalist.
Of course.
is check the bios of teenagers, because that's the modern world we live in.
It's without saying, I think we all hope that this isn't a signal that Ike Larson is leaving. Wouldn't count us surprised if he does.
No, and I mean, it goes back to when he was at the Utah game earlier. People felt that was tampering, where he's getting sideline passes to go to Utah, and if he ends up at Utah, then, boy, people aren't going to be happy about that.
Yeah.
And I wonder if...
He wasn't the only one who was there. There were actually quite a few Aggie football players who were on the sidelines for that game.
Yeah. The thing is, I wonder with this, this modern age where smaller programs cannot hang on to any player that they develop. If they recruit them out of high school and they develop them, they will lose them. To a man, they will lose every single one of them. They will not finish as an Aggie, with very little exception. And insert any other school, any other mascot. Is it going to cause coaches? I know there's some people that kind of go to the extreme of just recruit entirely from the transfer portal and don't even recruit from high school. There's people from a bunch of different fandoms. I've seen BYU fans, Utah State fans, others are just only recruit the transfer portal. But are you going to see a lot more coaches just, you talk about the kid that Utah State picked has got a commitment from Utah, where if that player wants to transfer again, they'd probably have to wait a year or get a waiver of some kind. Like, are you going to see coaches go to that, shun the high school recruiting and say, look, I can get guys, but then I'm never going to keep them? Or are they going to get guys that will have to, sit out a year? There's a penalty, so to speak, if they transfer. Is that going to cause coaches to shun high school recruits? Then what happens to the high school recruits if that happens? It's like, I feel like this is why it's important to get a handle on these transfers. Because with it being so rampant and just so easy, and with NIL, accelerating it, because it was getting bad before, and now it's just horrible.
Yeah, Matt Rule, he has a press conference just the other day, and talking to the media, it says, well, we need to, if we want to go out and get a quarterback in the transfer portal, it's a good quarterback's going to cost $1 to $2 million.
Yeah.
It's like, what are we doing?
This
is like free agency.
Yeah, it basically is. Like I said, you got a guy like Ike Larson. He's going to have a bunch of people calling him up. He and his, I guess he'll have some representative one. I know it's not like officially an agent, because I don't think they can officially have those, but they'll be fielding calls, him and his family, offering him hundreds of thousands of dollars. That'll entice literally anybody to transfer. It doesn't matter how much of a Valley kid they are. They're likely to leave. So,
a couple of texts coming through, 8968. You're right, the basketball has handled the transfer portal until last year. That was a fiasco. Then 5879. You guys said he was going to the NFL earlier this year. Is that still your opinion? I don't remember me saying that he was going to go to the NFL. I don't think he's big enough to go to the NFL.
Well, I think he's good enough to go to the NFL. For me,
good enough. He's good enough at the collegiate level. I just don't know if he's big enough physically to play that position in the NFL.
Well, that's just a matter of years. Because for me, I think we were asked earlier if there were guys who had the potential to go to the NFL, and Ike Larson was one of those guys. As far as size, yeah, I don't think he's ready to go to the NFL now. But this is a guy who's a redshirt sophomore. Give him, if he goes through his full, eligibility, continues to get bigger, very much potential to go to the NFL.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe he's a corner, not as a safety, and it also depends on if he's fast enough to play corner. But that's potential. I'd be surprised if him was, this is a potential farewell to go to the NFL, because I don't think he's quite ready to do that.
Yeah, I would, if he were listening to me, I would advise him not to do that.
Yeah,
I just don't think he's ready yet. But I think he has that potential, but not now.
Yeah, he doesn't have now NFL potential. He has eventual NFL potential.
Yes.
And I hope that was what if we've been asked that before, I hope that's what I said earlier, because if not, then I think past me is wrong. So
yeah. Yeah, he'll need to beef up a little bit more to be NFL ready. 4446, do you have to play 3 years in college before NFL for football?
Yeah, he's been in college for 3 years, though. He's eligible to leave. You finish a redshirt sophomore year, you can leave.
Yeah.
It's just 3 years post
Removed from high
high
school.
You don't have to play, well, any of those years, actually. But, yeah, if, either true junior or redshirt sophomore, you can go. We've seen it. I don't think we'll see it from Mike Larson, but it's happened with a bunch of different players, especially high-level quarterbacks tend to leave after junior or redshirt sophomore seasons. But
yeah, for Jordan Love, it was his third year.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, because he was. Well, I guess he finished his junior season.
Yeah,
because he played as a true freshman, sophomore, junior. So, just Ike Larson, he's in his second season as a player, like regular rotation guy, but he did redshirt his first year, so he's eligible to declare for the NFL draft. Probably shouldn't, but like I said, he's got that potential eventually.
Yeah,
just not this year, at least in our opinions. So yeah, that's transfer portal mania. It's trending on Twitter for the last week and a half, basically, as more and more people putting out. With that being said,
yeah,
I'm putting my name.
There will be more of them.
Bunch of JUCO guys trying to hype themselves up because they're trying to get seen. It's the madness or the wild, wild west.
Yeah. Well, and look, we said earlier, I saw this the other day. I think it makes a great point. I mean, would you rather be a star where you are? Maybe you're not going to make that same level of money, but go somewhere else to chase that bag, but be a rotation player at best. Because that's often what happens. It's rare that somebody at this level transfers, is a star here, and is also a star at the next level.
Yeah. Just a bunch of teams filling out their depth, and they have money to throw around and say, hey, come here, and then you'll be our backup safety. And we'll get a bunch of money and maybe a free truck.
Yeah.
But players can go to the NFL out of Utah State. Utah State has shown that time after time after time.
Absolutely.
They just may not have the
You will get noticed.
Yeah, they may
if you're
not.
a star, you get tape on you, the NFL will take notice of you. If you're a rotation guy and you rarely see the field, your odds aren't as good.
Yeah. I mean, FCS players get drafted into the NFL.
True.
So we'll continue to monitor that situation. As I said, we'll probably not see a whole lot of declared transfers from Utah State, at least not key players, until after the bowl game. And that'll be the narrative. Can Blake Anderson hold on to his guys? Speaking
of bowl games, one bowl slot has already been filled that was a potential for Utah State. So we can discuss that coming up on the other side of this timeout.
All right, we will. We do need to take a timeout, so we'll be back and we'll discuss that here on the Full Court Press.
You can't expect a policeman to unclog your drain. You shouldn't ask a teacher to change your oil. And you wouldn't want a fireman to clean your teeth. So why would we let politicians take over our internet service? That's just not what they do. Experience proves government-run networks mean waste, corruption, and failure. One example, called Utopia, promised to provide internet service in 16 cities within a few years. But over 20 years and hundreds of millions of dollars later, a better name would be dystopia. They say it's almost complete. We say stop wasting our money. Go to nogovinternet.com and tell lawmakers enough is enough. Local tax dollars are precious, and public employees have plenty to do already. Don't let politicians mess with our internet. Paid for by nogovinternet.com, a project of Domestic Policy Caucus.
Don't get caught without power to your home or business. This is Tyler with Golden Spike Electric. We offer Generac backup generators to keep your home or business warm, avoiding frozen pipes, loss of valuable food, or even a flooded basement. Golden Spike Electric is certified and factory trained, so you know it will be installed right and properly maintained. Contact Golden Spike Electric so you'll never be without power again. Online at gsegenerators.com. We also service other brands, Golden Spike Electric and Generac, power you can count on.
Les Olson IT structured cabling is second to none. Tired of old and inefficient cabling? Have an upgrade or remodel planned? Building a new network from the ground up? We offer the very best in low voltage cabling installation, including data, phone, fiber optic, and more. Ask us how to get your free consultation today.
Les Olson IT.
Security,
It's the most precious thing you can give your home, especially if it's guaranteed. No cheap locks, no weak keys, no inadequate hardware, just the expertise and precision and security. Beezer Lock and Key believes there's no place like a safe home, and no home safer than one secured by them. It may seem they only sell locks and keys, but what they really sell is peace of mind. Search Beezer Lock and Key or go to 4th North and 1st West and just add confidence.
Your skis are skinny and your boots tie with leather.
You know exactly what I'm talking about. You need up-to-date ski equipment, and your kids want the good stuff. Al Sporting Goods has season ski rental for the entire family. Ski and board equipment that you can rent for the entire season. Pick them up now, bring them back in May. Youth season ski or snowboard rental, only $99. Adult season ski or snowboard rentals, only $114. Don't wait. $99 and $114 season ski rental prices will go up. Al Sporting Goods for season ski rentals. Every sport, every season.
Sunday on Compass Media Network's coverage of the NFL, the AFC East leading Miami Dolphins head to our nation's capital for a showdown with the Washington Commanders. Hi, this is Chris Carino. Join Brian Baldinger and me for all the Week 13 action. Can Tua Tagovailoa and the explosive Dolphins make it 3 wins in a row? Or will the Commanders play spoiler in December? It's the Dolphins and the Commanders. If it's the NFL, it's right here.
Pregame begins Sunday morning at 10:30 on Sports Talk Radio, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM, The Fan.
It's the Full Court Press with Eric Frandsen and Jason Walker.
Four 435-339-0321. That's the Full Court Press text line number if you guys want to join the show. We threw in a teaser. Eric threw in a teaser just before the break. One of the potential bowls that we've seen the Aggies projected to, we went through bowl projections earlier this week, as they're in full force. Now that the regular season is over, they'll be even more in force in the short period of time between the championship games and the actual bowl announcements this upcoming weekend. But apparently, one of these bowls having already chosen its participants, again, one that we saw the Aggies projected to by a couple of different people, I believe.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, I know that a lot of bowls will make their announcements this weekend, but there's quite a few that will not have anything to do with or any relevance connected to conference championship games taking place Friday or Saturday. So I'm a little surprised we aren't seeing more of these announcements. But today, the the Easy Post Hawaii Bowl made its announcement that San Jose State will be the Mountain West representative going up against Coastal Carolina.
That's absurd how, San Jose State, it's oh, that makes sense. When San Diego State went last year, it was oh, that makes sense, yeah. Go to the Hawaii Bowl. It's not too far, coast, you're on Pacific Coast, and it's not that bad of a flight. It is certainly a ways, but my goodness, East Coast.
Coastal Carolina.
It's
going to take them 2 days just to get there.
Yeah, you could almost get there as fast by flying east as you would west.
So that's December 23rd, and that's the later game on that day. So, sorry, Aggies, no bowl game in Hawaii.
That's one that I think I ran the poll. I forgot to double check where it's at now, but I think there were a few different bowls. I put a poll on our 1069 The Fan Twitter account. I think Hawaii Bowl and Potato Bowl were the two most popular hopes, and not the Hawaii Bowl.
Scratch that one off the list.
No, I don't think Utah State was particularly interested. Granted, I think the Hawaii Bowl is probably more interested in San Jose State than they were Utah State. Well, maybe, I don't know, record-wise. I guess it depends.
Yeah.
San Jose State finished higher in the standings, so I guess maybe they'd be more interested in them.
Yeah.
Just based off of that.
Sure. Maybe a little bit cheaper to get there. San Jose doesn't have a great fan base, even though they've had quite a few good, successful football teams of the last, in the Coach Brennan era. They still don't get fans out to support their team.
No. Well, it's California. San Diego State can't get fans out to its team.
Yeah.
Of course, this year is a little more justified. but they've struggled even in their better years. So there you go. One bowl down. The Aggies will get into a bowl game unless they decline all the options and just don't go. I think Louisiana Tech had that happen to them back in 2012.
That's true. There was because Utah State was kind of involved in that mix where there were some opportunities to get a bowl, and the Aggies accepted one. And because there was maybe some thought that maybe they could get a little bit better bowl, a little better payout. And La Tech did the same thing. They played the waiting game thinking that there might be something bigger or better for them, and then that invitation never came, and they were left out.
Yeah. A little awkward because that was one of their better seasons.
Yes.
They were ranked. The Aggies in Louisiana Tech, I can't remember if they were both ranked at the time. The Aggies might have gotten ranked after that game.
That's true, but they were right there in that same area.
Yeah, they were both at the top of the standings there in the WAC. That last year the Aggies were in the WAC, so one of the last 2 years they were in the WAC.
By the way, I just saw a video of how San Jose did the reveal for their bowl. And they got the whole team together. We're going to go bowling. They all know this, but they don't know where they're going to go. Got a special announcement. And all of a sudden, the door opens from the side, and in walks Coach Brennan in swim trunks and a surfboard and some sunglasses on, flexing for the team. It was pretty funny. It's pretty good.
So if the Aggies go to the Potato Bowl, are they going to do the same thing except Coach Anderson's going to walk out wearing a potato farmer outfit and juggling potatoes?
Big gunny sack.
Just throwing out some free ideas.
Yeah,
if you're
there
listening,
you go.
anyone in the Utah State Athletic Department, you can have Coach Anderson come in throwing potatoes around you and celebrate going to the Potato Bowl. Which, again, that feels like it's most likely. Half the projections that we went over earlier this week had the Aggies in the Potato Bowl.
Geographically, it makes sense. I mean, normally the level of schools that participate in that bowl game have records about what Utah State has. So Utah State's likelihood of selling more tickets there makes more sense. But who knows? I mean, there may be opportunities to go different places where they haven't been yet, or go back to somewhere where they've been before, and it was a good experience for them, so they want to go back.
Thing is, though, is the Potato Bowl has one of the better payouts of the bowls that are left that the Aggies are projected to. There is one bowl they were projected to where the bowl payout is $2 million, but I don't see that happening. But as far as going somewhere they haven't, I mean, the Hawaii Bowl is now off the table. They've never been there. The others were the Cure Bowl and then the Myrtle Beach Bowl. A couple that are all the way on the East Coast, which I don't know if, again, the Aggies are a lot more motivated right now going to a bowl game.
Who does the Scooters Coffee
Frisco Bowl?
Is that the Frisco? Okay, they've been to the Frisco
Bowl. They've already
Bowl.
been to the Frisco Bowl. I haven't seen them.
They've been to the First Responder Bowl.
Yeah, I went to the First Responder Bowl last year. There's New Mexico, Arizona. I don't know if didn't see them projected to either of those. Those are bowl games they've gone to and they've had better. Well, the New Mexico Bowl, they had a better record. Arizona Bowl is actually one where they were 6-6 that year. Played New Mexico State. So, I don't know. Has the Arizona Bowl elevated itself to where it can get better teams?
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I mean, for me, we're talking about my preferences as a reporter. We're talking about in high school basketball. I want to go somewhere I haven't gone before as far as a bowl game. Haven't actually been to Boise State Stadium yet. Which is weird. I've been to a lot of other stadiums around here, but not that one.
If you've been in the press box at the University of Utah, you've been in the press box at Boise State.
Okay.
They modeled their press box after the Utah expansion.
I have been in that press box, so
there's a lot of wasted space.
It's been a while, though. I haven't been in Utah's press box for quite a while. I was covering high school football at the time, too, so I've not actually covered a University of Utah game. And probably won't for a while. Because they're not going to schedule Utah State. Although if they do, it will be at Utah. So
most likely.
But it was funny when I went to BYU last year, they had all the Big 12 stuff already in their press box. Because they're independent.
Yeah, you can start putting that stuff up whenever you want.
And nobody cares. There's just a bunch of Big 12 logos everywhere. They were already celebrating that. But, yeah, I've been to the New Mexico Bowl, Frisco Bowl. First responder ball. I'm not super well traveled. Got to add it all up though. So we'll add one more travel location for me. But enough about my travels.
A little bit shortened show because we have the Utah Jazz. They're in Minnesota tonight. So actually, let's do this. Let's take a quick timeout now, and let's recap what happened last night. And there are some injury updates for the Utah Jazz tonight as they take on Minnesota, who is the number one team in the West.
Yeah, the Jazz are going from playing a last-place team or one of the last-place teams in the West to the first-place team. We'll preview that coming up next here on the Full Court Press.
Clean it up and get it out this fall.
Don't wait another winter. Let DD Auto and Salvage pay you for that junk vehicle. DD Auto and Salvage makes it so easy and fast to get rid of your junk or vehicles by paying you the most money possible. Pickup is available. If you have metal, DD Auto and Salvage in Logan want to pay you today. Search DD Auto and Salvage today or call 787-1204.
That's 787-1204.
See store for details.
Adams Wealth Advisors is proud to announce that they've been named as one of the best financial advisory firms in the country by USA Today. Start maximizing your wealth potential with a team of experienced advisors who specialize in working with high net worth individuals. Let Adams Wealth Advisors help you achieve your financial goals with a personalized approach to investment management and planning. For more information on how Adams Wealth Advisors can help you achieve your financial goals, go to adamswealthadvisors.com. That's adamswealthadvisors.com.
When it comes to home care, it's important to know you have a choice. If you or a loved one is in need of hospice or home health services, remember that Primrose Home Care and Hospice believes in treating the patient as well as the problem. We work directly with you and your doctor to create a health plan that's catered to your needs. Our team is devoted to providing options in the freedom and safety of your own home. Visit us at primrosecare.com or call to schedule a free consultation. Primrose Home Care and Hospice, your local hospice and home health provider since 2006.
Hi, this is Ashley with LSS Insurance. Looking for Medicare coverage that offers you more? Now is the annual enrollment period. Time to compare all your Medicare options to get the benefits you want. Call 752-9493 and we'll walk you through all your options. There is no cost to work with us. We will help you access the benefits that are important to you. Call LSS Insurance at 752-9493.
Hello, Cache Valley. This is Tom Hale at Blue Sky Restoration, formerly ARS. Remember, got a mess? Call ARS. We want to let you know that here at Blue Sky, we still have the same great staff, we provide the same excellent service, and are ready to help you in your time of need with water mitigation, mold remediation, or a fire. Thank you for trusting our staff and myself for over 35 years with your disaster needs, and we will continue to be here for you. From Blue Sky Restoration to you and yours, we wish you the safest and happiest holidays.
Sunday on Compass Media Network's coverage of the NFL. It's a late season AFC-NFC matchup from Tinseltown as the Los Angeles Rams host the Cleveland Browns. Hi, this is Jeff Biggs. Join Bill Rosinski, Steve Berline, and myself for all the action as both teams look to keep their playoff hopes alive. It's the Rams and the Browns. If it's the NFL, it's right here.
Pregame begins Sunday afternoon at 1:45 on Sports Talk Radio, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM, The Fan.
The Aggies, Jazz, high schools, even the Pee Wee's T-ball team. It's the Full Court Press on Sports Talk Radio, The Fan.
Welcome back to the Full Court Press. As mentioned before the break, it'll be a shortened show, so we're going to cut out in about 7 minutes here. Give way to the Utah Jazz game. The Jazz taking on the Minnesota Timberwolves. Top team in the West right now, 13-4. Jazz played Memphis yesterday. Memphis, who are now 4-13. One of those 4 wins coming against the Jazz yesterday.
Their first home win of the season.
It's embarrassing to give that up.
Yeah, look, Jazz looked good in the first quarter, and they led by 1. It was selfish basketball, good passing. Then they started to get away from that, a little more one-on-one stuff, and Memphis started to get on a roll, killing the Jazz on some pick and rolls. Roddy had a great early going. Jaren Jackson Jr. got rolling, and the Jazz just fell apart and just too much selfish play. Tonight, taking on Minnesota, who looks very good. Mike Connolly has settled in. They know how to play with Rudy Gobert now, and a very dynamic team. They've got guys who can defend out on the perimeter, so it's a tough matchup for Utah. And they're going to have to do it with another one of their stars out. Jazz announcing today that Jordan Clarkson will be out of the game tonight. Kelly Olynyk is available. There was some question whether he would be available or not, but he will play. So, again, Utah is going to throw a lineup out there with a bunch of guys that probably wouldn't make rotation in a lot of other rosters.
Yeah, a lot of them can't even make the Jazz rotation unless guys are injured.
Yes.
So it kind of worked for a little bit because they got a couple of scrappy wins in a row. Starting guys like Omer Yurtseven, playing guys at the back of their own bench, playing them almost ahead of guys that had been playing more, like Taylor Horton-Tucker and Ochai Agbaji. But you're going up against a team that's playing best in the West right now, in the Timberwolves, who, have figured things out. Now, Timberwolves, they may be without Anthony Edwards, who's doubtful for this game. And then Jaden McDaniels is also out, one of their other key rotation players. They're long 6'8", 6'9" forward, versatile defender. But they still have Gobert and Karl Anthony Towns, who are both capable of carrying a team on any given night.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a tough one.
So anyway, that game tips off at 6. So pregame with Utah Jazz Radio Network starting at 5:50 this evening. We will have full play-by-play here on the Fan.
All right, so finish off the show. We've got Pick 6. We're going to predict the 6 things we think are going to happen over the weekend. I've got 3 lines. You've got 3 lines. I won last week, although I still need to come up with a tiebreaker, so I'm going to have you go first while I really quickly figure out a tiebreaker.
All right, well, mine are pretty simple. It's all about championship weekend for me. I'm just focused on college football championship games this weekend. So I'll start with the games that are on Friday. Oregon, currently favored over Washington by 10.5. Take Oregon to cover or Washington to cover?
I'm going to take Washington to cover that.
I'm going to take Oregon.
All right.
Okay. Liberty and New Mexico State will face each other on Friday. Liberty is projected as these are both independent teams, but they're filling up their rosters, their schedule. But Liberty over New Mexico State by 11.5.
Liberty over to New Mexico State. What was the line again?
11.5.
Take Liberty.
I'm going to take New Mexico State.
All right.
And then finally on Saturday, Boise State and UNLV. Boise State currently favored by 2.5.
I'm going to take Boise State.
I'm going to take UNLV.
All right. Okay. All right. So mine are all basketball related. So we went completely different sports here.
Okay. That's good.
So Utah State taking on UC Irvine on Saturday. Got Great Osbar, who's averaging almost 20. He is averaging 20 and 10 this year. So combined points and rebounds by Great Osbar versus UC Irvine. 30.5.
I'm going to take the under.
I'm also going to take the under. Just trying to get you there. Rudy Gobert, points against the Jazz. Over under 11.5.
I'm going to take the over.
Gosh dang it. I'm going to take the under. Just I don't think he'll score many points. He might get a ton of rebounds, though. And then Keontae George, same game. Keontae George, combined points and assists against the Timberwolves, over under 16.5.
That's a good line. I'm going to take the over.
I'm going to take the under. You took all the ones that I wanted to take. I have this limit of how many I'm willing to just go the same as you on these. Ended up going different on most of them. All right, for the tiebreaker, so I won last week, so I get to set the tiebreaker. And I usually just pick a random NFL game for us to pick the score of. Usually I pick the worst, but I'm going to go a little different. And we've got Chiefs-Packers. Kansas City. Line's at 6. I'm going to push it to 6.5 so we don't have the possibility of a push there. So Kansas City by 6.5.
Ooh, that's really good. I'm going to take the Packers to cover.
All right, I'll take the Chiefs. I don't want the Chiefs there. So finally, I get one I want. And I have to take that one because it's tiebreaker. So there's a pick six for us. We'll see how things go. We've been going back and forth. So
yeah.
If the trend continues, it looks like you're in for a win this week.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. On Monday, it's always kind of fun to have these in the back of my mind as I'm watching various sports over the weekend. And I'm like, shoot, did I do the over or did I do the under?
And that's the problem is I have it in my head, but I keep forgetting or misremembering which one I picked, and then maybe being slightly happy or slightly worse. And it's I come back and I'm like, oh, wait, I got that one right. It happens to me every week because these will all be kind of hiding, and so I guess we'll be rooting for Osborne to get another 2010 against UC Irvine, but it'll be a tough test.
And we'll learn more about them tomorrow. We'll preview that matchup more during tomorrow's show.
Yep, we'll have that tomorrow. And we still got I thought we were going to end. We have another 10 seconds. But I'll have a chance to talk to Coach Sprinkle tomorrow. We'll be talking to him after practice and getting a chance to preview UC Irvine. Next tough test for the Aggies. That'll be tomorrow.